FIFA World Cup continues in Concacaf tonight in a pivotal crunch game in Group E. It is Guatemala and the Dominican Republic from Guatemala City, and it is live. I'm Donnie Barnes. The weather conditions in Guatemala tonight, it has been raining off and on throughout the afternoon. We've had thunderstorms. Those have mostly moved through, but the periodic rain expected to continue throughout the night. So slick conditions, which will just add to the drama and suspense in a game where one mistake could change the fate of an entire football nation. You see a packed house here at the Estadio Cementos, Progreso. This is a game that's been looked forward to for the last year, ever since the first two games of this second qualifying round in Concacaf last June. Guatemala winning both of those qualifiers in the first half of this group. But there is still a lot of tension, many nerves around this nation as they get set for this one tonight. Here are the standings in Group E. Guatemala and Jamaica joint top on 6 points each, but the Dominican Republic lurking on 3 points. This is arguably the group of death in CONCACAF, because if the Dominican Republic, who have made so many improvements over the last half decade or so, if they could win tonight on the road, it would really flip this thing on its head, and it would put Guatemala in a very precarious position, because Guatemala have to go to Jamaica for their final game of the group next Tuesday, while the Dominican Republic will be home to Dominica, who they'll be heavy favorites to beat. So the Dominican Republic essentially need to win tonight. Remember, only the top 2 finishers in each group go through to that final round of qualifying in September. But if they do that, the Dominican Republic, then Guatemala would be under massive pressure. And for Guatemala, that would be a national trauma for a nation that has suffered many of them in qualifying campaigns past. It's an enormous point of angst for longtime Guatemala supporters and staff that this proud country has never qualified for a FIFA World Cup. It has become arguably a mental block and a difficult barrier to overcome. And because of that, even though it's a very festive atmosphere right now, as you see, if they don't get off to a good start tonight, the atmosphere could become very, very tense. The Dominican Republic, meanwhile, have almost none of that emotional baggage. Despite having never come close to a World Cup themselves, it's only in recent years that this traditionally baseball-crazed country has begun to make massive strides and invest much greater resources in their football setup as well, and that's already paid off. They will play in their first ever Gold Cup next week, and if they could pull off a win in a hostile setting here tonight, they would suddenly have a real chance to be one of the 12 teams who reach the third and final round of Concacaf qualifying this fall. Coach Marcelo Nevelef's influence in professionalizing the national team setup has been incredible. They lost their qualifying opener 1-0 to Jamaica in Kingston last June. Then they bounced back with a win over the British Virgin Islands. Since that loss to Jamaica a year ago, they're unbeaten in 9 games with 8 victories. They went 6-0 in Nations League play last year. We'll hear the anthems of these two nations, then we'll see the starting 11s and kickoff. It's Guatemala and the Dominican Republic in a massive game on the road to FIFA World Cup 2026. And it is next. is electric in Guatemala City tonight. Will it be festive by the end of the night? That's the big question to be addressed over the next 90 minutes. A win here tonight for Guatemala, and they would be qualified for that third and final qualifying round this fall in their quest to reach a FIFA World Cup for the first time in their nation's long and longing history. The Dominican Republic, if they win tonight, suddenly they would be in a great position to overtake Guatemala on the last day of this round next Tuesday. Here is the starting 11 for the home side tonight. Anchored by Nicholas Hagen, who is their goalkeeper, plays for Columbus Crew. A four-man back line as usual for head coach Luis Tena. Now they have a couple key injuries and players missing for this game, so that front line of Mendez, Franco, and Santis will try to bag the goals. A couple of players that they were hoping to have for this game tonight did not materialize, and we'll get into that more as this game unfolds. Our match officials are led by Guido Gonzalez, the center referee, assisted by Chris Elliott and Pedro Figueroa. Ray Torres is the fourth official this evening, with the captains meeting at midfield. Jose Pinto wears that armband for Guatemala, and Gian Lopez does the same for the Dominican Republic. And here is their starting 11, set out by revolutionary head coach Edward Acevedo, who has been absolutely terrific since he came here a couple years ago, with Dollenmeyer and DeLucas anchoring the center back spots, Miguel Lloyd in the goalkeeper position, the front three of Vasquez, Romero, and Gonzalez. They also had a key injury up front, but they have been a very dynamic side. You mentioned they won all 6 games in Nations League play. They were in League B last fall. They won promotion to League A and qualified for their first ever Gold Cup, which will begin next weekend, of course, by virtue of winning all of those games in League B. This game kicking off a half an hour later than expected because the Dominican bus had a small run-in with a truck on the road to the stadium. Apparently everybody was okay, and we're certainly glad and relieved to hear that. So kicking off later than expected, but it has been a game that's been anticipated for nearly a year. And so what was an extra half an hour for these fans to wait? It is Guatemala in the white, Dominican Republic in the navy blue. Guatemala to kick things off. So much pressure on their shoulders tonight. As referee Guido Gonzalez almost set to get us underway. He blows the opening whistle, and we are rolling in Guatemala City in this massive swing game in the Concacaf FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifiers. Will Guatemala take a step toward finally exercising their qualifying demons? Will the Dominican Republic become true contenders for the biggest tournament in the world? So important for Guatemala, especially, to get off to a good start in this game. Even though the Dominican Republic are the team that really have to win, a draw would sort of be okay for Guatemala, at least in theory. But this is the kind of crowd, with the history that Guatemala has in qualifying, and it's not a happy history, as we've already talked about. If things start to turn negative, even in the slightest, in these early minutes, those groans and that tension start to ratchet up. That pressure will start to grow on these players in white. And for the Dominican Republic, not a lot to lose from their perspective, although it's a very ambitious footballing nation now. They have an early free kick in the attacking half. Foul given against Guatemala's Jose Rosales. And we see a look at Guatemala's very respected head coach, Luis Fernando Tena, as he watched this foul against Rosales a moment ago. An early set piece for Guatemala to defend. Fernando Vasquez, one of those standing around it for the Dominican. Here's Vasquez, who will swing it in with the right foot, and it's easily cleared away. Set by the Dominican Republic. It's swung back into the box. It's a great ball in, and it's headed wide. And there was no deflection. It's a goal kick. It was a good early opportunity for Dorny Romero, their prolific goal scorer up front. Banged in 10 goals in 6 games in the Concacaf Nations League last fall. He was the leading scorer in the Nations League last year. A decent chance to add one right away tonight. He's now tied the all-time leading scorer spot in Dominican Republic history with 24 for the national team. Obviously, he'd love to break that record tonight. He nearly did a moment ago. Pujol taking that throw. One of a couple of Dominican Republic players who actually came up through the Real Madrid Academy. It's been one of the big differences for the Dominican Republic over the last handful of years. They've started to recruit those dual nationals. They've been able to recruit many from Europe, especially from Spain. Lots of players with Dominican parents or grandparents who have that eligibility to play for the national team and are now being encouraged to do so. And increasingly, they're agreeing to do so, as the excitement around this team keeps growing. Qualified for the Olympics last year in Paris. That was the first time they made the Olympics on the men's side as well. So milestone after milestone over the last few years for the Dominican Republic. A win here tonight, though, would be the biggest yet. It's been a strong start for the visitors. Looking confident as they work the ball around. Whistles rising from the home crowd already. Partly directed toward the Dominican Republic when they possess the ball, but and the longer this goes like this, the more those whistles might start to be directed at the home side. And that was the fear coming in, and that misplaced pass won't help. Nicolas Samoya. Now some space through the midfield. Oscar Santis trying to thread it through. Trying to find the run of the forward Rubio Mendez. Plays for Charleston Battery in USL in the United States. There's a small contingent of Dominican Republic fans and personnel who have made the trip here. 5 minutes in, their team started well. Turnover, though, gives it to Guatemala. Can they build something from that? It's a good ball on the left. A great step, and inside the box, the right-footed cross in front. They score! Dream start! Guatemala, Los Chapines charge ahead, and an entire country's collective anxiety is quieted for now. Oscar Santis with a finish, and it's a brilliant start. It all came from this scuffed ball, and that first time contact from Jose Rosales to create the turnover, and they work it really well. And watch this work. The first touch from Jose Morales lets the defender blow by. Cross is perfect. The finish is excellent. He still has a lot to do here. Gets the foot up almost at neck level to redirect it into that far side netting. It's terrific from Santis. It's a relief for Guatemala. Yeah, the difference between a win and a loss for them tonight is so massive. In a game that's been talked and written and anticipated about for the last year here in this country. It is exactly the kind of start they envisioned. And now for the Dominican Republic. So many things go well over the last year. Big gut check for them early on. They're looking for a free kick on the edge of the area. They won't get it. Dominican Republic love to possess the ball. Their system that they've embraced over the last couple of years under head coach Marcelo Nevelet, who's revolutionized the side, but they give away a free kick in the midfield here. Oscar Santis, the goal scorer. Santis with over 40 caps for Guatemala. He was once named the best young player in the Concacaf League a few years ago. He is the early hero so far for Guatemala tonight. Dominican Republic, though, always a threatening team. Lloyd, their goalkeeper, veteran keeper, coming up on 50 caps for them. He's won multiple domestic titles in the Dominican Republic. They'll be patient here, even after falling behind, even in a game they have to win. Shouts for offside, flag does go up. Hagen in goal for Guatemala once again. He was a standout at the Gold Cup 2 years ago. Guatemala got to the quarterfinals and finished 5th, which was their best showing in a generation in that tournament. Guatemala won the Concacaf Championship back in 1967. That is still a very celebrated title and milestone in this country. It's the only time that they've been champions of Concacaf. That was before it was known as the Gold Cup, of course. Final a couple other times in the 60s. That was a glory period for them, but qualifying for a World Cup, the one thing that has always eluded them. Chance to take a big step toward that tonight. This is kept in play well, though. Whipped in with the left foot, but there's Hagen. He plays for Columbus Crew in Major League Soccer. He's largely been their backup keeper over the last couple of years, but he's had some chances to play some significant minutes. He just started a couple weeks ago for them after missing the early part of this season with a broken finger, which he described as a really frustrating experience, of course, but he's excited to be back with the national team. These such anticipated games. Dominican Republic player falling against the end boards there. That's their center back, Noah Dollenmeyer, who plays for El Paso Locomotive in USL. Looking to build on that early goal. Shoulder to shoulder by the end line. De Jesus had to play it because it was going to be a corner otherwise. Has to concede the throw. The challenge for Guatemala is not to sit back too much, not to go into a shell after taking an early lead. The Dominican Republic do have the quality in the attacking third to hurt them if they do that. Scrappy sequence in the game. This will be a Guatemala throw. 4 times Guatemala have qualified for the final qualifying round. in Concacaf for the World Cup. Never gotten through that last hurdle. Last qualification cycle for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Went out in the second round, and here's a chance for a second goal, and here's the first save of the match for Miguel Lloyd. Angle was a little bit acute by the time the shot was taken by Rubio Mendez. Did appear to be onside. There's no VAR in these qualifiers, remember, so if the flag stayed down and that went in, it would have stood. Dollenmeyer playing this long. It was well read by Jose Pinto, the captain for Guatemala. El Capitan, as they call him. So Guatemala shown the ability to burst to life in the attacking third. They would have known coming in that Dominican Republic like to possess, will probably have more possession. That's a heavy challenge. It's a yellow card. And Jose Rosales maybe slightly fortunate. We'll look at the replay in a moment. He goes really high and late into that challenge at first glance. Let's see. Yeah, boy. Again, no VAR, and if there were, he might be in some further trouble there, because that is studs very much up. I think the question would have been, how much contact was there? How forceful was it? How endangering was it to the opposing player? It certainly would have been in danger of being upgraded to a different color, but just the yellow. He's the first player booked tonight. It's a terrific switch cross field, as I say that. Slightly overhit in the end. Christian Magnon. There's the name Pablo on the back of his shirt. Luis Tena, Guatemala's technical director. Very stoic, but has to love the start. But here come the Dominican Republic, and they'll have a free kick. Dorney Romero bursting through the lines, got taken down. So 15 minutes in, that foul against the captain, Pinto. Gives the visitors in blue a chance to lift something dangerous into the area. Nicholas Hagen setting up the wall. It's a very central free kick. Heinz Marshall, who was born in the Dominican Republic but grew up in Germany. And he takes the free kick on goal. It's spilled. It's tapped in. And the Dominican Republic have leveled in the 16th minute. They respond. They answer right back. They silence this crowd in Guatemala City. And the handful of traveling supporters go crazy. It's 1-1. What a game. And it is Dorney Romero who becomes the all-time leading scorer in Dominican Republic history. His 25th for his country, his 11th in the last year. And he was onside. VAR, no VAR, wouldn't have mattered. Terrible mistake from Nicholas Hagen. It's well struck, it's on goal. Remember, it's a damp night. It's been raining all day. Did that affect Hagen there? How much did he see it over the wall? Did he see it late? Regardless, he spilled it. Romero pounced. And they're all square again. And now the tension and the nerves have returned in Guatemala. You can hear it, you can feel it. Again, And this result would probably be okay for Guatemala. It would leave them 3 points clear of the Dominican Republic for the second spot in the group. Remember, the top 2 out of each 5-team group advance to the final round. This is lifted in and allowed to run out for a goal kick by Miguel Lloyd. Remember, we showed you at the top of the broadcast the group table at the start of the night had Jamaica on 6 points. They'll play tomorrow. A game that they are expected to win handily. And Jamaica were in second on goal differential behind Guatemala. They both were on 6 points, having won their first 2 games in the group last June. Dominican Republic in third, having lost to Jamaica last June and then won their second game. Now, the goal differential between the two is quite a bit, so even if Dominican Republic win today, wouldn't immediately jump them over Guatemala unless they win by 3 or 4 goals. But remember, Guatemala, in their final game of this group, they have to go to Jamaica, to Kingston next Tuesday. It's always a tough assignment. Now, the Dominican Republic, with the flag up here for offside against them. This is a free kick for Guatemala. Dominican Republic next Tuesday will be at home against Dominica in a game that they will be heavily favored in. So they would love to go into that final game even on points, even if they still trail on goal differential, because that would put tons of pressure on Guatemala to not just get a result in Jamaica, but they would probably have to win that game. Now the Dominican Republic, ooh, it was on there for Romero, and the pass was just a little bit too heavy through the middle. Guatemala way too open in the midfield. They do have a free kick. This promised to be the game of the night in Concacaf qualifying. It's living up to it so far. There's one other game also in progress. More on that in a moment as Guatemala trying to split the lines there. Both teams looking pretty open through the midfield. It's only taking one line-splitting ball to put somebody in. 20 minutes in, and a goal each. Santis in the 6th minute for Guatemala. Romero in the 16th for the Dominican. Elsewhere, Nicaragua with a 1-0 lead over Guyana. It's a crucial game in that group. That's Group D over there, as you see the goal scorers so far here. Nicaragua entered tonight tied atop Group D, leading on goal differential over Panama. Guyana were in third. So Guyana need to win that game, and they're trailing at halftime. And the broader backdrop for these qualifiers. More spots in this 2026 FIFA World Cup than ever before. It's an expanded field, remember. Chance for the Dominican here. Here's Romero trying to turn the corner and use his speed, and what a last-ditch tackle. It had to be perfect, and it was. Otherwise, Romero was in for another. And they still have to defend here as it's turned over. First time ball in was repelled. Guatemala looked to break, and straight over the top it comes, but turns out to be simple for Miguel Lloyd. Good Pujol. Peter Gonzalez, who plays for Getafe in Spain, plays in La Liga. That's the caliber of player that the Dominican Republic are suddenly able to attract. That was not the case even 10 years ago. Country for whom baseball has traditionally been the primary passion. New football program exploding recently. So much more investment. Infrastructure has improved so much. Some defending to do here, though, and they are guilty of a foul, and they give away a free kick. And disagreement, as you can see, from the captain, Jean Lopez, who holds up the ball to referee Guido Gonzalez and said, "I got it," but the man, too, it appeared. Pedro Altan playing in a mask. Attacked a facial injury. So, the Dominican Republic goal about 7 minutes ago came from a similar free kick from a similar angle. Central, 15 yards outside of that penalty area. It was a simple, hard shot at the goalkeeper that was spilled by Hagen at the other end. Miguel Lloyd might be tested similarly here. Santis. Looks like he's ready to hit it. It is Santis, and it's just over. Miguel Lloyd looked like he had it covered. Still pretty well struck by Santis. This is never a bad idea. The Dominican Republic. Hit those long balls. Let Dorni Romero run onto them. Even though they can play some silky possession-based football, they're not afraid to go long either. This is curled at the back post, and it's a really good ball. And it's going to be a corner. It'll be the first corner of the match. See the free kick from a moment ago that Santis hit just over, and boy, you see it back. Yeah, I guess Lloyd did have it covered. So, first corner of the night to be taken by Ronaldo Vasquez. Tons of wrestling in the box. More shell involved for the visitors. He was tangling with Jose Rosales, so has to be a little careful because he's on a card, remember. And was perhaps a little fortunate that he's only on a card. Not already off the pitch. Referee Guido Gonzalez seems to be telling him, hey, use your head, please. I don't want to send you off. Of course, a referee never wants to send anybody off in a game like this. 20 minutes left in the first half. Corner lifted in toward the back post. Lots of wrestling there, too. It's out for a goal kick, nothing else. Noah Dolenmeyer still on the ground, claiming he was wrapped up and hit in the face. It's Nicholas Samoyoa who was involved with him. And because there's no VAR in these qualifiers, it's a bit of a throwback. Probably get away with more in the box than you often can these days in the VAR era. Not sure that would have been a penalty anyway. This is Rosales, who's taking a seat for Guatemala. Of course, Guatemala City is a city at considerable elevation, nearly 5,000 feet. See Dolenmeyer on the ground, and then Rosales sitting down too. So he's limping off for now, and it looks like they're going to have to make a change here, Guatemala. Oscar Castellanos ready to come on. You would assume for Rosales. And you wonder if Luis Tena is using this as a good excuse to get him off the pitch, since he's already on a yellow and was just involved in another shoving match in the box a moment ago. If he's carrying any kind of injury, no reason to take a risk in keeping him on. in Luis Tena's mind, you would think. So Castellanos on, Rosales off, and only the 28th minute. It's not controlled off the chest. Crowd wanted a foul. Here come the visitors then. Edgar Puyol, raking cross in, stooping header away. Guatemala can come through the lines now. They had a player offside up front. That was Rubio Mendez. He wasn't in sync with his midfield. It's a shame for Guatemala because they had options on there. And both teams at times in this opening half hour have been way too easy to bypass through the midfield. Makes it fun to watch those in neutral. That's what we expected this game to be. Guatemala under Luis Tena, generally known for more defensive discipline and structure. That's what he's always been able to instill in his sides. Here comes Pedro Gonzalez now, and Gonzalez has a crack toward the near post, and Hagen gets down. Gonzalez didn't catch it that cleanly, but it was on frame. Again, in these slit conditions, never a bad thing to get a shot on target. That was what led to their goal in the 16th minute. Ball down the left side. Shielded out with some contact. Now the foul is given for the push by Pedro Altan. Altan right through the back of Luis De Lucas. Many of these Guatemalan players play for the domestic Guatemalan League. Most of them either for Municipal or for Comunicaciones. Those are the two big clubs in Guatemala, at least the two biggest. Altan is a key playmaker for Municipal. Generally an attacking midfielder, favors his left foot. Dominican Republic looking for a lead. Again, this is a game they need to win, most likely. This is floated toward Hagen. He was able to take without incident this time. I say Hagen that time. Nicholas Hagen, generally how he pronounces his name. He was born in Guatemala. When he plays in Major League Soccer, it's often pronounced Hagen. This comes into the middle, and it's a chance, and it's deflected wide. It'll be a corner. First of the night for Guatemala. It was Mendez who was fouled at the near post, and it apparently came off Luis De Lucas, although he says it didn't. Good ball in. Tough to see who that came off last, but it's being given as a corner. Crucial from De Lucas to be in the way, though, because it looked like Mendez had met it well with that right foot. So Santis will take the corner from this big crowd. Lifted to the top of the 6-yard box, overhit really. Dollenmeyer was able to clear. Now Dollenmeyer. It's a cultured pass back from him. And it's a free kick for the Dominican Republic. It's Marshall, the player who was fouled in the end. Dollenmeyer, by the way, is 6'5". Now watch this ball from a 6'5" center back. Well, that's the foul against Marshall. Marshall's family moved to Germany when he was just 8 months old. Born to a German father and a Dominican mother. So he grew up in Germany. He played for the German youth national sides up to the U19 level. those European-based talents that the Dominican Republic Federation has been able to convince to join their national setup in recent years. Swung away by Miguel Lloyd. 1-1, 32.5 minutes in. Complicated backdrop and a complicated night so far for Guatemala. Here come the Dominican Republic now, and another strike toward the near post. They're determined to test Nicholas Hagen as much as possible, especially after that spill and that goal. Hagen has been clean since. Oh, that's not a good ball. Straight in the middle and given straight away to Gonzalez, who puts it straight at Hagen. And Guatemala get away with that. That won't do anything to quiet the nerves and the anxiety in this stadium around this country. Think of all the teams that you've watched, whether in football or in other sports around the world, who have had long championship droughts, who seem to be cursed in key moments. Many Guatemalan fans feel that that's the case with their national side when it comes to trying to qualify for a World Cup. It has never happened. It has often not happened in very agonizing ways. And here's another chance for the Dominican Republic, and it's put wide by Doni Romero, who is seeking his second and their second. And again, the back line for Guatemala has questions to answer. They cannot deal with his speed and his movement. And their head coach, Edward Acevedo, loves what he's seeing, even though it's still 1-1. Guatemala trying to regain the initiative, trying to get this crowd fired up again. That attack broke down. Again, both teams look so vulnerable every time they turn the ball over. Here comes down the left side for the visitors. 10 minutes until half. Lifted into the middle, bodies flying around, still not dealt with convincingly. Falls on the edge of the area. And it's still alive here, and it's in! And the Dominican Republic have turned it all the way around. 1-0 down just 6 minutes in. They're 2-1 up with 10 to go till half. And Dominican dreams keep getting bigger. It should have been dealt with. It wasn't. And suddenly it was in the back of their net. And it's the German-based Heinz Morschel. He grew up in Germany. He plays for the Dominican Republic now. And that's his biggest goal for them so far. And again, Nicholas Hagen is questionable. 2 goals against, and neither have been great from a goalkeeper's standpoint. Right between the feet there. After he spilled the first from a free kick that allowed it to be tapped in by Doni Romero in the 16th minute. He allows Morschel to beat him at his near post, right through the wickets. And Guatemala in trouble, big trouble. Not just on the score sheet, but mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Suddenly it's all against them. Lots of time left, but it won't feel that way in this stadium. This will be a throw for Guatemala. This is a problem for Luis Tena, and he knows it. He's done good work here over the last 4 years since taking over in 2021. This cross in straight to the goalkeeper, claims for a corner half-heartedly, but clearly kept in play by Miguel Lloyd. Luis Teno, mentioned, very respected in coaching circles. His most celebrated accomplishment, of course, winning the Olympic gold medal with the Mexican U-23 national team at the 2012 Olympics in London. They beat Brazil in that final, you may remember. That was a Brazilian side that featured players like Neymar and Thiago Silva. Here come the Dominican Republic again. Clip to the back post, and Marshall's in all kinds of space, and he tried to square it. He was offside. It was a good decision, clearly, from the assistant referee on this near touchline. Dominican Republic playing really well. Those are the only things you sense that could undo them tonight. Those unforced errors and giveaways in their own half. That was what led to Guatemala's goal early on. A couple questionable passes there back to back that could have haunted them, but didn't this time. Good touch by Marshall. Gonzalez wins a throw. Luis Tena, though, at the helm of this Guatemalan national side since 2021. With that coaching pedigree, he's really tried to instill more belief in this Guatemalan side. This will be a throw for the Dominican Republic. He said a couple years ago that he feels Guatemalan players have more quality than they themselves believe. He's really tried to boost their confidence, self-esteem of this footballing nation. For all the good work he's done over the last 4 years, there's been talk in the build-up to this game over the last year that if they were to lose tonight, and if they don't go through to this final qualifying round by the end of next Tuesday, he could be out. This team will have to defend a free kick here just into the attacking half of the Dominican Republic after this foul. I think it was given as handball against Jonathan Franco. And it comes to that far post, and then it's clipped wide. Ronaldo Vasquez trying to create something out of very little. With just 5 minutes to go until halftime. And this is exactly the kind of scenario that Guatemala feared. Trailing at home, with the home fans increasingly restless and anxious and nervous. And the atmosphere getting more tense all the time. Shaky from Hagen again, and it's turned over, and here they come again. And it's touched out of play. It is a goal kick. It was Pedro Gonzalez who nearly was able to touch it around Hagen. It's unfortunately been a nightmare first half for Guatemala's keeper. And again, he's a guy with a lot of experience for Guatemala, and he's had so many great games for them. Go on YouTube, you can find entire highlight reels just of his performance at the Gold Cup 2 years ago. The incredible saves he made against top teams. He saved a key penalty in the last game of the group stage against Guadeloupe to help Guatemala preserve a win that they had to have to get to the knockouts. Could Guatemala level this before halftime? It's a ball on the left. It was a little heavier than anticipated. It'll be tracked down by the corner flag by Pedro Altan. Jose Morales. Jonathan Franco, he curls it in, but easily headed away. Dorney Romero tries to touch it through everybody and go on the run. And Romero 1v1 gives away the foul. Jose Pinto had to stand his ground. Very committed defending
That was a must-win battle for him, and for his team, and for his nation. The Si Se Puede chant arising at the Estadio Cementos Progreso as this is lifted into the middle and it's scooped out. It'll be a corner. Edgar Puyol, in the end, decided not to take any chances. At the start of the night, a draw would have been a bad result from Guatemala's perspective, even though it might turn out to be enough after Tuesday's games. Right now, they'd take a draw. Oh, you bet they would. They certainly would take a draw at halftime. Lifted in with the right, near post. Defended by the Dominicans. An attacking throw. Guatemala trying to press for an equalizer before the break. They always look vulnerable on the counter. The longer this game goes, of course, with them trailing, the more that will increasingly be the case, you suspect. That's a mishit cross, and it's way out of play. The Dominican Republic would love to get this to halftime with this lead intact, of course. With this scoreline as it is, if the Dominican Republic were to win this game 2-1, for example, they would still be behind Guatemala for second in the group. On goal differential, they'd be +4. Guatemala would be +8. With the final games in the group that both teams have, the Dominican Republic would love their chances. This is, again, way overhit. Service has to be better for Guatemala. Indicating he's tracking the time that's being taken here. With the Dominican player down, it was Luis De Lucas. We're into stoppage time. Not seen an indication from the fourth official. Now we're going to get that. 3 minutes. It's the minimum time to be added on at the end of this first half. Four years ago, Guatemala failed to advance to the final qualifying round in the Concacaf region for the World Cup when they failed to beat Curacao in the last game. This second round group. Giveaway, or they will have a free kick in their own half with a couple minutes left in this first half. Multiple Guatemalan players talked in the build-up to these games about how they've been waiting 4 years for another chance to get through to that final round and hopefully beyond. After a terrific start, scoring in just the 6th minute, it's all gone wrong since. Still have time to make it right, but right now it's the Dominican Republic. Feel confident, look confident, and are in front. Final minute of the first half. Crucial final minute of the first half. Huge difference in the whole atmosphere around this game. if ends 2-1 or if Guatemala could pull it back to 2-2 before then. Castellanos allowed to advance and strike, and he's not that far away. Castellanos, the guy who came on in the 28th minute for the injured and yellow carded Jose Rosales. I'm not sure how much that substitution was because of the former or the latter, but in any case, Castellanos aggressive and unafraid to come forward and shoot. He is a defender. Seconds melting away in this first half. For Iquito Gonzalez blows the halftime whistle. It's been dramatic. It's been chaotic. It's been everything we expected. It's been nothing in the end that Guatemala envisioned after the dream opener in the 6th minute when they took the lead through Oscar Santis. The following 40 were not good for them. And they were terrific for the Dominican Republic. They turned it around with goals in the 16th minute from Dorney Romero and in the 36th from Heinz Marshall. Poor first half for Nicholas Hagen in goal for Guatemala. Tons of work for them to do to turn this around in the second half. Can they regain their nerves? Can this big crowd in Guatemala City calm themselves and get back behind their team for the second half? Or can the Dominican Republic really start to dream about qualifying for their first World Cup? So much to be decided in the second 45. In just a moment, we'll have our highlights from the first half and our stats. And at the break in Guatemala City, it is the Dominican Republic 2, Guatemala 1.
Me puse la camisola porque juega la sele. Como la radio, vamos al estadio, tengo la tele. No importa la hora ni el día, incluso si llueve.
We're back for the second half in Guatemala City. What an opportunity for the Dominican Republic. And what a mountain to climb for Guatemala, even though they're only a goal down. We talked about how fragile the psyche of this footballing nation is, especially around World Cup qualification time. They're going to make 2 changes coming out of halftime as they send on Oher Escobar, the 18-year-old, and Archimedes Ordonez. Oher Escobar, who's come up through the U15, U17 national sides, scored his first goal for the senior national team in March on his debut. They've removed Pedro Altan. Boy, a lot being asked of an 18-year-old to come off the bench to help rescue this for his side, and at least a must-draw game for them. Again, the Dominican Republic need to win this game. So it's a slender situation for them too, but it feels so much different because there's so much less weight on their shoulders. Guatemala dealing with a century of frustration in World Cup qualifying that they hoped would come to an end this year, and still might with this expanded World Cup field. But if that's going to be the case, they've got to turn this around in these second 45 minutes. And the Si Se Puede chants have begun, and the second half has begun as well, with the Dominican Republic in the dark blue kicking off and attacking from right to left in this second half. Guatemala in the white and in need. Rubio Mendez, the other player removed at halftime by Luis Tena, who's now already made 3 of his 5 substitutions. Remember, he had to make one in the 28th minute. Jose Rosales left the game. So even with 45 minutes to play, doesn't have a lot of cards left to play if these ones don't work. That pass doesn't work. It's not an ideal start to this second half. Guatemala took the lead in just the 6th minute. Terrific finish, a well-worked goal scored by Oscar Santis. If they can't find more in this second half, Luis Tena, his time with the national team might be over after next Tuesday. Possession for Guatemala in this second half. They lift it to the edge of the 18. Clear by Juan Familia. Guatemala get it back though. Herrera was born in Las Cruces, New Mexico, to a Guatemalan father. Actually had a cap with the U.S. senior national team. Decided to join Guatemala as this is scuffed through and was headed wide. Picked up by Miguel Lloyd. Talked about it quite a bit with the Dominican Republic in the first half. So many players on both these rosters, though, that were either born elsewhere or grew up elsewhere, decided that these national sides, where their heart lies. So many Concacaf nations and federations have gotten so much better and so much more committed to recruiting talented dual nationals in recent years. It's kind of why this whole federation, the level of Concacaf has risen so much. Guatemala might have something here. It's slid through. Lines up on this right side. First time ball in. Blocked out. It'll be an early corner for Guatemala. Trying to lift this big crowd, and the crowd tries to lift them back. Oher Escobar takes the corner. He takes it short. Sent back to him at the angle, and Escobar still, and still Oher Escobar, and Escobar against a body.
takes it down again. It's a good first touch, but he took too long on it. This is a spell of sustained pressure for Guatemala, and they have a free kick. This is what they would have wanted from these early minutes in the second half. Pin the Dominican Republic in, put them under pressure. Marshall, who scored the second goal for the Dominican Republic, called for that foul. Of course, the danger for Guatemala is that the Dominican Republic have looked dangerous on the counter all night. Scoop toward the back post. It's going to reach that end line, but the cross in, not for the first time tonight, not good enough. Samayoa unable to wrap his foot around it. Ooh, that's an interesting back pass. Looked like it was going to turn out badly for a moment. Turns into just a Guatemala throw. Herrera plays for DC United in Major League Soccer. It's been one of Luis Tena's ambitions for this national side, for this national program, as they have a free kick in their own half here. Crowd wants more against Ronaldo Vasquez. You can see why they wanted more too. Vasquez goes in pretty high with the studs. Be a little fortunate not to go in the book there. But it has been one of Luis Tena's stated ambitions for the Guatemala national program to get more of their players exposure and ultimately to get more of their players moves to leagues like Major League Soccer. Another free kick for Guatemala. They're going to take it right away, and Ronaldo Vasquez was not allowing that, and again he gets away with it with just a warning. It's been a bright start to the second half from Guatemala. And this is going to be another free kick for them, and it is going to be a yellow. The first of the night for the Dominican Republic, shown to Edgar Pujol. Foul off the ball to needless yellow to pick up and a needless free kick to give away. And the rain has largely stopped falling tonight, but it rained almost the entire afternoon and most of the evening, sometimes heavily, so it is still a very slick surface. Toward the edge of the 18, it's headed in! It's life for Guatemala. It's an equalizer for Guatemala. It is 2-2. It's a fantastic game. And it's Nicolas Samayoa who lifts this crowd once again. Samayoa way onside. It's a strange one. Miguel Lloyd way off his line. What was he doing? Can't get near it. Guatemala don't care. It's just what they needed. They scored early in the first half. They've scored early in the second half. And this game takes another twist.
So Guatemala weren't about to give up coming into the second half. As things stand, they're back to being 3 points clear of the Dominican Republic for second place, that precious second place in the group. Actually, technically, they would be on 7 points right now, which would put them first since Jamaica play tomorrow. This will be another free kick for Guatemala. And the Dominican Republic pick up another yellow card. It's been a very disjointed start to the second half for them. Gian Lopez, their captain, goes into the book. Steaming into that challenge against Oscar Santis. Of course, as slick as the surface is, you accelerate off it when you go into a slide tackle like that. And again, a draw for Guatemala. It's certainly far preferable to a loss tonight. It would remain to be seen whether it would turn out to be enough by the end of Tuesday. Free kick for the Dominican Republic now. If they stay 3 points up on the Dominican going into that last round of games on Tuesdays, we'll see this foul. Pullback from Archimedes Ordonez. So if Guatemala stay 3 points ahead of the Dominican Republic going into that last round of games, the Dominican Republic would need to beat Dominica by a wide margin, and they would need Guatemala to lose in Kingston against Jamaica. As the Dominican Republic would have to equal Guatemala for points and would have to better their goal differential, which we talked earlier about the fact that Guatemala entered this game with a pretty sizable goal differential advantage, but Guatemala haven't played Jamaica yet. The Dominican Republic have. So it would leave things in limbo, but that's better than leaving Guatemala in a pretty desperate situation, which would be the case if they lost tonight. Because then they would almost have to win in Jamaica on Tuesday. Draw gives them a lot more cushion, and this is struck from distance and over the bar. And it continues to be one-way traffic in the second half. Jose Morales unleashing that one. Jose Morales generally plays left back. We'll get into the attack, though. We saw that there. All that menace and attacking threat that we saw from the Dominican Republic in the first half, they could have had more than 2 goals, remember. We've seen none of that so far in the second. You do wonder about the elevation. Is it starting to catch up to them now in the second half? It happens sometimes in places like Guatemala City, which is over 4,800 feet above sea level. And this Dominican national side spent over a week training at elevation before coming here to Guatemala. They trained in Bogota, Colombia. They wanted to adapt to both the time zone and the elevation. They seemed to be adapted just fine in the first half. Not so much so far in the second. Down this left side, Guatemala defending much more certainly in this second half too. And lots of space for them to roam forward on this right side. And frantically motioning his teammates forward was Santis. Now cutting in on his left, but scooping it with his right. It's a good ball out to that far side.
And clipped back into the middle. It's 3-2. Total turnaround again. Back and forth they go. And now it's Guatemala back in front. They led 1-0. They trailed 2-1. And now they lead once more with half an hour to play. And their World Cup dreams back alive, big time. A second goal of the night for Oscar Santis, who timed his run perfectly. Juan Familia tried to step up for an offside trap, and he mistimed it. And those are the mistakes that make the difference at this level. Oscar Santis met it perfectly. It's a great ball in. And he nutmegs Miguel Lloyd. Takes the yellow for taking his shirt off. And at the moment, as things stand, he's taking Guatemala into the final qualifying round in Concacaf. So 30 to go and 3-2. And why not try to score from midfield the way this game's going? Nicholas Hagen, a very relieved man at the moment. His two mistakes on the two goals that the Dominican Republic scored in the first half currently being atoned for. As things stands, now will things shift again with the Dominican Republic trailing again? It's what happened in the first half. Guatemala scored early, then started to sit off the ball. Will they make that same mistake again? This looked offside, and the flag does go up. It's rifled into the back of the net, but it will not count. And again, there's no VAR. We talked about that in the first half. It certainly appeared that Archimedes Ordonez was well off, and he was. It's a great finish, though. Again, look how open the Dominican midfield is. Guatemala pouring forward, trying to pour it on. Into the middle it goes. It's a chance for the hat trick. It is a hat trick. Oh, wow. Oscar Santis. What a night. What a game. What a moment. 4-2. Guatemalan guts. Chapines charging forward with 3 goals in the second half. What was a tense and sometimes sullen atmosphere at halftime is now total joy. What a strike. How well does he hit this? Oscar Santis, so full of confidence. One touch out of his feet. And lasers it off the underside of the bar. And what's going on with the marking from the Dominican Republic? They've just been all over the place in the second half. It's been a complete turnaround. After they dominated the first 45, they have been overrun in the first 17 minutes of the second half. They make their first changes of the night.
Guatemala, con el número 18, Oscar Santis, al minuto 62.
Darlene Reyes comes on for Pedro Gonzalez. Did they wait too long to make changes in this second half, the Dominican Republic? You can certainly understand them being unchanged from the first half when they were great. They've hardly completed a pass in the second half. Guatemala in charge. 2-goal cushion with 26 minutes to go. Well, if you check the social media commentary at halftime, the mood among Guatemalan fans, to say nothing of the mood inside this stadium, was not great. Look how much it's changed. Look how much 20 minutes can change. And if they win tonight, they're through to the final round, no matter what happens on Tuesday. Not handball. The play goes on. The Dominican Republic just can't get anything going. Oscar Santis had over 10 goals for Guatemala coming in, but 3 tonight. The night of his life so far. Kind of second half turnaround that if they can see this game out, make people in Guatemala start to believe that maybe, just maybe, this is finally the year, finally the cycle, finally the time that they might finally qualify for a World Cup for the first time. And one more qualifying round to come will be played in September and October and November. 30 teams in this qualifying round in Concacaf. Only 12 advanced to that final one. Out of those 12, 3 will qualify for the World Cup. 2 others will go into the Intercontinental Playoff. This one not done yet, though. The Dominican Republic trying to spring back to life. It's clipped into the middle. Attacker arriving there. It was scooped back out. It'll be a throw. This will be a corner. After absorbing body punch after body punch for the last 20 minutes, the Dominican Republic trying to finally fight their way off the ropes and get back in this game. Of course, if they could make it a 1-goal game again, the mood in this stadium will get very tense once again. Referee Guido Gonzalez wants to have a word. Outswinging corner, the top of the 6-yard box, and it was a chance, and it should have been a goal. Great delivery. Hagen was rooted to his line, and it was Gian Lopez, the captain, who got there and couldn't guide it on frame. Well, the double change at halftime that Guatemala made, sending on Ordonez and Escobar, I don't know if that accounts for everything about this second half turnaround, but it certainly injected a lot more energy in this Guatemalan team. Those are two very young players to bring on. We talked about Escobar being just 18. Ordonez also under 20 years old. Here come the Dominican Republic, though. Forced out wide and off the edge of the post. It'll be a goal kick. They thought they should have a corner here, the visitors, but that's not what the referee's giving. Oh, it should have been a corner. It's clearly deflected by the defender. And now I think what is the decision? I think it's still a goal kick. I don't know why Ronaldo Vasquez would be trying to take more time putting the ball back down. His side's trailing by 2 goals now. Anyway, here's the 4th change of the night for Guatemala. He'll bring on Nathaniel Mendez. He replaces the hat-trick hero, Oscar Santis. Listen to the ovation he gets. Nathaniel Mendez. You can see he's a tall forward, very experienced striker. He scored 11 goals for Guatemala. Scored in their friendly against El Salvador a couple weeks ago. They played to a 1-1 draw in the build-up to this game. Those are the kind of outballs the Dominican Republic were routinely able to cause havoc with in the first half. Here in this second half, Guatemala have adjusted, and they're cutting them out. Doni Romero, who is a constant pest for that Guatemalan back line in the first 45 minutes, has hardly had a sniff in the second half. Starting to drop back a bit as they protect this 2-goal lead. Can the Dominican Republic find a goal back and find a way back in? Really well worked by Guatemala to get themselves up the pitch. And they win a throw. Aaron Herrera, arguably Guatemala's most valuable player. Such a crucial creative outlet for them. Of course, tonight their MVP is Oscar Santis with his 3 goals. There was one of those opportunities for the Dominican Republic to break with speed, but they're not connecting the dots in this second half. It's a terrific turn down the right touchline. Winning the throw is Ronaldo Vasquez. Now this will be a free kick. really starting to find their attacking intent again down that right side over these last couple minutes. Pineda, who came on a few minutes ago at that winger spot, is playing in the Bulgarian First League. He's known for being a very good dribbler, and we've seen that twice in the last couple minutes. It's resulted in this free kick for the Dominican Republic. Finally ready for the free kick. Hagen up for it and claims it. And does so cleanly. And temperatures and tempers getting high. Morshall, who scored the second goal that put the Dominican ahead late in the first half. Frustrated in the aftermath there. So into the final 15 we go. We've seen teams take turns tonight, trying to slow the game down and frustrate the opposition. Guatemala with the 2-goal lead now. They led 1-0 early. They trailed 2-1 at halftime. 3-goal barrage in the first 16 minutes of this second half. Might be more for them here. It's opened up on the edge of the area. It's a perfect tackle, though, just when it needed to be. Otherwise, Archimedes Ordonez was in. Ordonez slows things down this time. They're down for the Dominican Republic behind the ball. Guatemala are getting ready to make their last change of the night. This is Morshall, who's down for the Dominicans. Ooh, knee to knee. Yeah, that's not fun. That change for Guatemala. William Cardoza comes on for them, replacing Rudy Munoz. It's an interesting one on paper because Cardoza is an attacker, Munoz is a defender. It's not the kind of change you would expect when you're 4-2 up with 13 minutes to go. Cardoza, another player who plays in Guatemala's domestic league with Club Jelahu. A brief loan spell in Greece. 15th cap for Guatemala tonight. Ball won't go out of play. Now finally does for a goal kick. Noah Dollenmeyer is trying to shield it out for a long time. Sometimes on a turf surface, though, that ball doesn't roll the way you expect. Guatemala 12 minutes plus stoppage time away from booking a ticket to the final qualifying round this fall.
Dominican Republic trying to pull that goal back, trying to create nerves for Guatemala again. This is Dorny Romero trying to clip it to that back post. That's a great ball out wide. Edge of the area, and then into the middle it goes where it was stabbed clear. Puyol. Lopez. Guatemala content to sit back now. Down this right side, chance to put in the low cross, and it comes all the way through, and it's scuffed wide. And two attackers getting in each other's way by the penalty spot. Dorny Romero hit it. His teammate wanted it instead. Into the final 10 minutes in Guatemala City. It's been an incredible first 80. Will Guatemala put this away now with a fifth, or will the Dominican Republic make for an agonizing finish for these home fans if they can score the next one? Not like that. It's really remarkable how this game has turned around in the second half. It wasn't just the Dominican Republic were leading 2-1 at the break. It was how they'd taken the lead. It was all the weight, all the history, all the demons on the backs of this Guatemalan side. All the anxiety and the nerves in this stadium and around this country. You could just feel all of it. And the Dominican Republic had played so well in the first half. Guatemala were frankly fortunate to only be down by a goal as the flag goes up here. So with all of that on their shoulders coming into this second half, the pressure on them to turn it around was immense. And the way they've responded to that pressure is incredibly impressive. Now they have to finish. And if they can, their World Cup dream would be far from finished. It would go on into the fall. And we hope it will go on in the summer of 2026. The first time ever in the FIFA World Cup. The end line. This is Archimedes Ordonez, but dispossessed and then commits the foul. Dominican Republic are going to bring on two more substitutes at the next whistle. Eduardo Acevedo's done an incredible job with this program over the last few years. We talked about that, especially a lot in the first half. He's revolutionized this program in many ways. You do wonder, though, about how long he's left it to make changes in this second half. This is good play down the left side, though. And this ball toward the penalty spot area, and they cleared away. But he's cannoning around the 6'5" center back Noah Dolenmeyer, who's way forward in the attack with his team trailing by 2 goals. Here comes that double change. Eric Paniagua is one of those who comes on in place of Edgar Puyol. Rafael Mata is the other. Rafael Mata goes by Rafael Nunez. Came through the Atletico Madrid youth system. So we talked in the first half about the Dominican Republic having a couple players who came up through the Real Madrid academy. Nunez heading up through Atletico's system. Played in Spain and Canada. Guatemala trying to finish in style, trying to finish this game with a fifth, but it runs through to Lloyd. Not much time left for the Dominican Republic now. Again, played in the Olympics for the first time last year. Will play in the Gold Cup for the first time next week. Their hopes of reaching the World Cup for the first time next year. 5.5 minutes plus stoppage time away from dying for now. This is cracked with the left foot and over the bar. Heinz Marshall has one tonight, but it's not enough as things stand. It will still be a period of huge progress for Edward Acevedo and his Dominican Republic side and program, even if this result stays the same tonight. This would be a disappointment considering how well they played in the first half, how good they were looking with 45 minutes to go. I'm just starting to wonder if maybe the Dominican Republic was ready to fully arrive on the world stage at halftime of this game. Learned some hard lessons in this second half, at least so far. Is there a very late turnaround still to come from them? This is whipped in on goal. It's spilled. It deflects around and it stays out this time. It was almost another mistake. It was another mistake from Nicholas Hagen. This time it didn't wind up in the net after it did twice in the first half. This will be a free kick for Guatemala. Boy, it has just been a nightmare night for Nicholas Hagen in goal for Guatemala. A guy who, again, has played in big games for them before, has made tons of big saves for them in big moments, and made a big save there on the back end of that mistake, actually. This is a simple shot, and he just fumbles it. It's a really good stop, actually, on the rebound, but it should never have come to that. That's about as routine as it gets for a goalkeeper at this level. And the foul against Dorney Romero. Which Jonathan Franco will take as much time from as possible. They have had chances, the Dominican Republic, especially over the last 15 minutes. This game back to 4-3 and force Guatemala to have to protect a one-goal lead late, but they just haven't been able to take advantage of one of those opportunities. Guatemala would like to make these last couple minutes as boring as possible. It's just not how this game has gone, though. They give that one away. And it's given right back on the missed touch. Rafael Mata. Jamaica will be at the British Virgin Islands tomorrow. They'll be heavy favorites in that game. Guatemala will stay on top of Group E, and they will clinch a spot in the next round. Unless they collapse pretty dramatically here in these final moments. The Oles are out in Guatemala City. Oh, Hagen again. Not convincing at all, but it works out. And it's a 3v3 for Guatemala. And here they come into the box. Chance to finish it with 5, and it's saved by Lloyd. Well, it probably should have been 5. It was Archimedes Ordonez breaking in on goal. He scuffed his shot, it looked like. And it doesn't look like it will matter. Being told there will be 6 minutes added on. So Guatemala aren't quite there just yet. Taniel Mendez takes the corner short. Ordonez returns it into the area. Kept from going out of play. We tick into stoppage time here in the second half. There's the indication of the 6 to be added on. Guatemala just want to keep it. Ordonez wants the foul and gets it. That will inch Guatemala closer to the finish line. Take the free kick short toward the corner. Will they take it all the way to the corner? Mendez now should and does. Dominican Republic conceding 4 goals today for the first time in 9 years. 2016, the last time that happened to them. In an official game, at least. Dominican Republic have improved so much since then as this cross goes to the back stick. Right to the edge of the area. Really good block. It'll go out for a corner. Just under 4 minutes to go. They're staying down for Guatemala. It's Jose Morales, who's played the whole 90 minutes plus tonight. Still a bit of defending for Guatemala to do with this 2-goal lead late. Slipping as he took the corner. It's harmless. It's out into touch. And it's nearly out of reach for the Dominican Republic. Guatemala City crowd ready to celebrate.
Crossed ball cut out. Guatemala want to be calm with it. It's well worked. It's really mature from players like Olher Escobar, just 18 years old, stroking the ball around, keeping possession, not making any careless mistakes. With this expanded World Cup format that figures to continue beyond this cycle, programs like the Dominican Republic figure to have more chances to make their first World Cup with the kind of growth that they're seeing, the kind of players that they're starting to attract. This goes to the back post. It's well overhit. It's a goal kick. Just about finishes things for tonight. The Dominican Republic will be back. Again, we'll see them in the Gold Cup in a week and a half. It will not be their time, it appears, to go to a World Cup for the first time. It might, it just might be Guatemala's. They sure hope so. Great tackle in the final minute. William Cardosa. They just want to run out the final seconds. It has been far from a perfect performance from Guatemala, especially in the first half, and they've had shaky moments in the second half too, but those opening 17 minutes in this second half were absolutely magical. And I hope that it's only the beginning of a magical run for them. It's all over for tonight. A gritty, gutsy Guatemalan victory. And their century-long dream of finally making a World Cup will continue into the fall this year. They're on to the final round of World Cup qualifying for the 5th time in their history. And they hope that this might finally be the time. This might finally be the year that they qualify for a FIFA World Cup. They'll have that chance in September and October and November. They took their chances in the second half today after it looked very bleak at halftime. They trailed 2-1 at the break. They could have trailed by more, but they blew the Dominican Republic away in a blistering 17-minute span at the start of the second half. A hat trick from Oscar Santis helped them turn it around. What a turnaround it was. Against so much weight, against so much history, and against so much anxiety. They stared it all in the face. They didn't blink. They took their shots and they landed them. And they go on. They'll play one more game in this round, of course, on Tuesday, but they're already through, and that's exactly how they wanted it. It was an incredible night. It finishes tonight in Guatemala City. Guatemala 4, the Dominican Republic 2. Well, what a game it was as we see our highlights from the 90 minutes tonight. And we suspected it would be a fairly open game. We suspected it would have a lot of drama, a lot of tension, but we had no idea what was really in store for us. It was a lead for Guatemala then in the 6th minute. Great cross in after wonderful work down the left side by Jose Morales, and it's a terrific finish. Not for the last time, as it turned out tonight, from Oscar Santis. It's so acrobatic to get that right foot high enough. Look how high he has to flick that foot and somehow redirect it into the far side netting. Then a mistake in the 16th minute from Nicholas Hagen. It wouldn't be the last from him tonight either, unfortunately. The long free kick that was taken by Heinz Marshall was then turned in by Dorny Romero. And then in the 35th minute, it was 2-1 to the Dominican Republic. And this time Marshall, who got the assist on the first goal, got his name on the score sheet. A quick shot at the near post that surprised Hagen.
And so Guatemala were in big trouble at halftime, but boy, did they turn it around. And it started from this header from a free kick. You do have to question the starting position of the goalkeeper, Miguel Lloyd. He gets caught completely off his line there. A strange goal, but they certainly didn't care, Guatemala. It was 2-2, and that turned it all around for them. And they never really looked back after that point, and they took the lead shortly thereafter. And it was Oscar Santis arriving with a perfectly timed run. It was a great ball in once again from Jose Morales, who assisted Santis for a second time on the night. And suddenly it was 3-2 to Guatemala. So having led 1-0, having trailed 2-1, they led again at 3-2. And then they made it 4-2 shortly thereafter. First, this goal was offside, but not long after that, this one would count. And Santis, once again, so full of confidence, took one touch and rifled it off the underside of the bar and in. This is a difficult finish, too, because he's moving back when he initially accepts that pass. His momentum has basically been broken up when he accepts that ball, but who cares? When you're in the form and the kind of confidence that he was clearly in tonight, it just didn't matter. And it was 4-2. It could have gotten really interesting late on. Guatemala made a couple mistakes. Nicholas Hagen continued to struggle on the night, but he was able to make a good save from the rebound. There was a chance for a fifth goal as well for Guatemala, but plenty for them. And on they go to the fall, to the final round of qualifying. Well, what a night. We hope you enjoyed it. For our entire great production team, I'm Donnie Barnes. As we look at the final full-time statistics tonight, 18 shots for the Dominican Republic, but 12 for Guatemala. They used theirs more efficiently, as it turned out. 52% of the ball for them, as they had 4 corners. There weren't a lot of corners in this game for a game that had 6 goals. 6 goals, only 7 corners. Here's the updated standings in Group E as Guatemala go to the top with 9 points. Jamaica will play tomorrow. Guatemala, you can see they're already through since there's just 1 game left for everybody else, and they're 6 points up for one of those top 2 spots. So we will see them in the fall, and we will see you for more World Cup qualifying around the Concacaf region tomorrow. Tons of games on the slate for tomorrow, and then Tuesday as well as things wrap up. Lots of drama still to come from around the region. But for our entire great production crew, I'm Donnie Barnes. Good night from Guatemala City this evening, where again it finishes Guatemala 4, the Dominican Republic 2.